Hello and welcome everyone. Today I've got a few examples for you of digital ghost painting with Procreate. Don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll explain in a minute, but first a quick intro for those who are new to the channel. Hello, I'm Shannon, owner of Shrush Design. I specialize in hand-lettered and illustrated designs for things like signage, murals, invitations and other stationery, digital graphics, and more. Here on YouTube, I make tutorials of how to do these projects, my methods, the tools I use, and the software I use on a regular basis. For anyone who may be interested, I now also have a free companion course to go along with these videos here on YouTube, where you can get access to additional notes, any digital downloads you may need, extra practice, and the direction of where to go once you master the tutorial. You can find that link down in the description, or just go to my website, www.shrushdesign.com, and look for the online courses section. Okay, let's get on with the tutorial. Alright everyone, so we are doing digital ghost paintings. So again, if you haven't heard me talk about this before, there's a trend going around where people buy a painting in a thrift store, or they have an old painting in their house, and they kind of paint over it little ghosts or whatever else you want to do. You know, it's mainly a Halloween trend, but you can do it for any time of the year if you want. So I'm doing a digital version of that on Procreate, and these pictures that I have here I actually got from the website Pexels, Pexels.com. That's a free stock photo website. You can use the photos on the website for whatever you need to use them for. Like it's royalty free. You don't have to pay to use it, even commercially. Or obviously you can use your own photos if you want. You can make your own photos kind of spooky if you want. Or again, whatever season you want to make these for. But I'm going to show you a few examples and give you an idea of what you can do with Procreate. So these are the pictures I have. We're going to start with this one because we're only doing one thing to this one. So I'm going to open this up. So just going to move it over here so I have some room over here for the menu to come up. Really the only thing I want to do here is I'm going to make the child's eyes glow, because it already looks kind of creepy. It's got that creepy old camera look to it, but I'm going to make the eyes glow of the child. So first thing I want to do is I want to make a new layer on top of there because I don't want to draw directly on the picture. And then I'm going to get a color. I want it like dark red glowing eyes. Looks pretty good. I'm going to use this one. All right, now the brush I'm going to use, I'm actually going to go into calligraphy and use the monoline brush that they have on Procreate. Now I'm going to zoom in, expanding with my two fingers, and I am going to do my best to get it in the iris of the eyeball there. And it's a little big, so I'm going to bring it down. It's still a little big. I wonder how small I can make this. Now that already looks spooky, but I actually want to play around with the transparency a little bit. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to go to the N here on the layer, and I'm going to bring it down a little so it's not so in your face. Something like that. Now you could add more if you want, but actually what I want to do with this one, because it's real simple, I'm going to make a real quick animation out of it. So I'm going to make the eyes kind of blink that red and kind of glow a little bit and then come back. So I'm going to go to the animation assist. Ooh, that looks scary too. What I'm going to do is, so we want it to start out like that. I'm going to make a duplicate of that, and I'm going to group these together. So it's going to go by very fast. Actually, let me turn it down, or turn it down a little. You see it kind of blinks on. But you can, of course, play around with the timing. And you can make like a mid stage there, or even a brighter stage. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, go back to the layer 2 in that next group, that one on top there, and increase the opacity a little bit, because that's going to make it glow a little more. And then I'm going to make a duplicate of this middle group here, but I'm going to bring it all the way to the top with my finger because it works better. And then I'm going to make another duplicate of this one and bring it to the top. So now and again, this is another thing you can't do with an actual painting. You have to digitally, at least not very easily. I guess you could probably do it if you wanted to with lights, but so there's another reason why digitally might be better. So you see. But you get the idea with this one. Let's go to another one. Let's do this one next. So I have this picture here. I thought I could maybe have something drawn on the walls here. I guess I'll just use a monoline brush. Again, I'm going to keep the same red actually, and I'm going to write "get out." All right, so I'm going to make a layer. I'm going to use the same red, and I'm going to use the same brush, the monoline. I'm just going to write "get out" on here. And I'm making it a little purposely kind of wiggly. In fact, the G is kind of too perfect. Let's get rid of that and make a new one. Now I also want to move this down, and I want to distort it a little bit because I want it to go against the wall. And then I'm going to actually do out on a different layer so I can move that independently. Making that a little too perfect again. So again, I want to distort that a little bit, so it looks like it's on the wall, which is kind of this way. And then I also want to play with the opacity on these as well, because this is a little much. Now again, obviously you could make more going on here. I just want to kind of give you an example of what you can do. You can also animate this one. So if you wanted to do that, go back and do animation assist again. And I'm going to make a copy of this. and group it with this, and then make another copy, group it with that. And then I guess you probably want to make another copy because it's going to say get out. I don't know if you want it to go get out or if you want it to go get out and then with both on there. So I'm going to duplicate the get and put it in here. So now you have where it says get and then get out. But anyway, you can write, you know, whatever kind of spooky thing you want here and then animate it if you wish. And then another one, we'll do this one next. Now I just want a ghost to kind of appear in the mirror here behind her. So I'm just going to use white. And I'm going to be playing with the opacity later. It's going to be kind of bright white right now. But wherever we want the ghost to come in, and then I'm going to drag the color in. And then what I'm going to do is erase where the eyeballs are. Maybe do it a little bit straighter there. And then go into, again, to change the opacity. We can kind of play with that a few times as well and do an animation with it. So I'm going to take this down to, let's do 50. Duplicate it, and then make this one a little bit darker. Let's do 65. Let me go back to my animation assist. Now I need to duplicate this again and group them with these little guys here. So this one and this one needs to be a group, and this one and this one needs to be a group. So you get an idea of what this is going to look like. Obviously that's way too fast because I forgot to bring it down. Now we're going to make more of a transition because that looks kind of ridiculous, but you get the idea. So I'm going to duplicate this group, and the one that's below, I'm going to go to this one and reduce it even further to like 25. And then you can keep going along as kind of depends on the speed you're making your animation at, as how many kind of different frames you need to make. So bring this one down to like 10, and then it's a little bit of a smoother transition. Now obviously I would speed that up a little because it's a little jumpy with the 1 second. But anyway, and then basically do the reverse again. So we're going to put this up on top of here, and then this one on top of there, and then finally this one on top of here, and then I should say finally another version of this one. Put that on top. And then I'm going to change the frames per second a little bit. Let's see what 3 looks like. Start over. So you could do something like that. And then our final one's going to be a little more involved. This one here. So I thought we could decorate this one a little bit for Halloween. So one of the things I want to do is put some pumpkins out in front. All right, so I'm going to move this over and I am going to make some pumpkins. That's not the color I thought it was. I need to get a different pen because this is too big. And then I'm just going to make a ghost in the windows. Now something tricky about this I can show you is we want the ghost to be behind the window, and this layer is technically over the photo. But if you were to put it under the photo, you wouldn't be able to see it because the photo's there. So what you can do is something like this. I'm gonna fill this in. And then I'm going to temporarily, well, I'm going to do it anyway, but I'm going to take this down a little bit so I can see through it. And then I'm going to do the eraser here. How small this is going to be. And I can erase where that window frame is. So that the ghost isn't technically painted over that frame. Anymore. Oops. Obviously you can fine tune this. But you see now that that window frame is in front of the ghost, and you'll see it more if I were to turn this up now. You can, again, fine tune if you need to. But now I need to erase the eyeballs on the ghost again. Which depends on where you want them. It's kind of behind the frame here. So. And then, depending on how transparent you want them to look. And obviously, you know, you can add whatever else you want to something like this. You don't have to do ghosts and pumpkins or whatever. But just to give you a couple ideas of what you could do. Now, I have taught you in previous videos how to add a photo to Procreate, but if you forgot, I just want to show you real quick. I'm going to add another layer here. You go to your wrench, you add and insert a photo, and it'll take it from your gallery that you have on your iPad. If you want, you can also add from a file that you have on your iCloud account. So if you had a picture on your iCloud account, I don't actually, but if you did, you could add it from there. Otherwise, or you can take a photo as well. So you can take a photo with your iPad, just take a picture real quick and then draw on it. And, you know, you can add text if you want, if you don't want to write the text. But that's it. So that's how I added the photos in. And, you know, there's bounds of possibilities that you can make with this, not just like for Halloween season. Like I said, you can do, I'm actually planning on doing other things with photos that I can show you in other videos later, but this is kind of an intro to it. So I thought I'd do a digital take on the thrift store ghost painting trend. So this way you're not really wasting anything, although, I mean, you're giving the thrifted paintings kind of a new life, but this way, you know, you don't have to actually paint. You can use digitally instead, and you can very easily post them to social media or whatever else you want. Or you could even have them printed and put in your home if you want. Depends on what you want to do with them. So again, I'm just going to show you again what they all look like. Just a recap. Now that they're animated, I have to kind of show you the animation. And then finally this one. And then back to the one I was just on. Didn't animate this one. Could if you wanted to, but did not. So that is a couple examples of what you could do. Again, you can do it with pictures of your family, your pets, you know, spooky pictures you take of the outside, like in the woods. Whatever else you want to do. Again, sky is the limit. So just giving you an example of kind of things you can do. All right, and that's it for this video. I will see you in the next one.